What if Earth wasn't just drifting through the universe, but being pulled, not by a common force, not by something we understand, but for something gigantic, invisible, and inevitable? As you watch this video, the entire planet is moving at very high speed along a route that nobody chose, and to a destination that no one can see. Apparently, everything is stable. But the most recent data shows an anomaly that may be affecting thousands of galaxies at the same time. This movement, which until recently seemed random, now has a direction. And this direction points to an unknown point in the cosmos that is exerting such an intense force that even the laws of physics have begun to contradict themselves. What if we were going straight to the limit of the universe? What if we were crossing the border to a different reality of ours? There are no alarms, there are no visible signs, just the silence of space and the increasing speed of everything around us. Comment below. Do you believe that there is something beyond our reality, capable of pulling not only matter, but the very fabric of the universe? I want to know what the craziest theory has ever crossed your mind. Share in the comments, because the most intriguing ideas may end up becoming a future video. And get ready, because what scientists are starting to discover can completely change what you understand as space, and perhaps even the concept of time. You are in motion right now, literally. Whether you are sitting, lying down, or standing still, your body is traveling at a speed that defies any human instinct for perception. The Earth is spinning at about 670 km/h. Meanwhile, it orbits the Sun at about 107,000 km/h. But that is still small compared to what is really happening. The entire solar system is moving through the galaxy at about 828,000 km/h, which is about 230 kilometers per second. And that it doesn't stop there. The entire Milky Way is being pulled by an even larger force at about 1.4 million mph. These numbers are real, measured, documented, but rarely questioned. Most people go through life without ever thinking about them. But the fact is, we are being carried away by something, and this trajectory is not random. When we look at the sky at night, we have the illusion of stillness. The moon seems to be still, as do the stars. But actually, everything is in constant flux, moving in trajectories determined by forces we can't always explain. We're not just floating in space, we're being dragged, and this movement already influences the way we see the universe. You've probably never felt this movement, but it's changing your relationship with time, space, and even the future. But this dynamic hides a consequence that few people know about, and it involves a specific direction towards which all this movement seems to converge. If everything in the universe were moving away uniformly in all directions, the motion of our galaxy would be predictable, balanced. But the data shows otherwise. The Milky Way, like others around us, is moving in a very specific direction, as if it were being called. It is not an orbit nor a rotation. It is a rectilinear movement pointed towards a fixed sector of the cosmos. And the strangest thing, we don't know exactly why. Initially, scientists attributed this movement to the gravitational pull of other nearby galaxies. But as calculations were refined, something became clear. The known forces are not enough to justify the intensity and consistency of this direction. The gravity of cosmic neighbors does not explain the acceleration or focus of this displacement. It's as if we're being pulled by something we haven't yet identified. A fixed point in the universe, or at least a point that seems fixed, even in an expanding cosmos. The Milky Way is being accelerated as if it were on an invisible track, following a route we haven't mapped out. The anomaly is so real that it causes detectable distortions in the cosmic microwave background, as if something were pulling the rug out from under nearby space. This type of behavior goes beyond what is expected. It is not about small local gravitational fluctuations, but about a large-scale trend that affects the motion of our entire galaxy. And if we are in fact being pulled, who or what is pulling? But it's not just our galaxy that's going there, which makes this even more disturbing. If the Milky Way were moving on its own toward a mysterious point in the universe, that would be intriguing enough. But the data reveals something much bigger, much scarier. We are not going alone. At least another 100,000 galaxies are moving in the same direction, as if something colossal was calling each of them. And the most impressive thing, this movement occurs in a region that extends for more than 500 million light years. We are talking about entire cosmic structures, galaxies, clusters, superclusters, all converging on the same coordinate. The scale is so absurd that even considering the immense distances between these galaxies, the pattern of displacement is detectable. This requires such a massive force of attraction, which surpasses any black hole ever observed. Something there is pulling matter, light, and time towards it. Astronomers have dubbed this phenomenon dark flow, a collective motion of thousands of galaxies whose speeds and directions indicate that something invisible is in control. But the problem is that no object detected to date can justify this type of attraction. And if there is nothing visible, what's there? A hidden structure, a distortion in the fabric of space-time, a miscalculation, or the beginning of a cosmic revelation? This attraction is not light. It is rearranging the movement of an entire chunk of the known universe. It is as if the cosmos itself was yielding to a profound call, coming from an origin we have not yet been able to identify. What is capable of attracting the entire universe? Because if even the galaxies are responding to this call, perhaps what exists there challenges everything we understand about reality. If hundreds of billions of stars are being pulled in the same direction, without us knowing what's there, what do you think might exist at that point in the cosmos? Comment below. What's your wildest hypothesis about what's pulling us in? A dimensional rift? A cosmic intelligence? A flaw in the very fabric of reality? I want to see your wildest theories in the comments, because as strange as it may seem, science has already begun to find evidence that this is not just an ordinary gravitational anomaly. And the name they gave to this force says a lot about the mystery it represents. Faced with so much inexplicable data, astronomers needed to give a name to that which, until now, has eluded understanding. They called it Great Attractor, a simple name, but it carries the weight of something that defies everything conventional physics expected to find. This is not a celestial body like a star or a black hole. The Great Attractor is not directly visible, but its presence is felt by everything around it, as if it were a monstrous gravity field bending space towards it. The most disconcerting thing is that it is at the center of a colossal movement. The region of the universe that responds to its influence is not small. It is vast. The gravity that emanates from there, or that appears to emanate from there, affects not only the Milky Way, but an entire sector of the known universe. No other structure yet identified exhibits this type of gravitational impact. Even with the best telescopes, the images are incomplete. The area where the Great Attractor is located is partially obscured by a dense section of our own galaxy, making direct observation extremely difficult. Still, all indications are that there is a concentration of mass never observed before. What we know so far is limited. Redshift measurements, cosmic radiation patterns, the behavior of galaxy clusters all point to an unprecedented center of gravitational influence. But what makes up this mass? Where did it come from? Is it a hyperdense cluster of hidden galaxies, an irregularity in space-time, or something we don't even know how to classify yet? And most importantly, why is it there? What is its function in the balance of the cosmos? Because if all this is really true, we are talking about a force that does not just attract, but redefines the movement of everything it touches. But the biggest barrier to understanding what's behind the Great Attractor is right here, between us and it, hidden in plain sight. Imagine trying to see the bottom of a turbulent ocean, with sand, fog, and waves obstructing your view. That is exactly the challenge we face when we look towards the Great Attractor. The area in which it is located is positioned behind the dense disk of our own galaxy. This region is called the evasion zone, not because it is forbidden, but because nature itself has made it almost impossible to see what is beyond it. The Milky Way, as fascinating as it is, gets in the way of our observation of the cosmos. Interstellar gas, cosmic dust, and billions of stars pile up between us and the exact point where the pull that affects entire galaxies comes from. Our traditional optical telescopes can't penetrate this obstruction clearly. For a long time, we didn't know what was on the other side. It's as if the universe had left a curtain closed between the question and the answer. But science didn't back down. With the advancement of infrared and radio wave technology, new instruments began to cross this barrier, and it was in this process that something began to emerge. The first images that penetrated the avoidance zone showed hidden galaxy clusters, structures that were completely absent from our previous maps, galaxies that seemed aligned with the cosmic flow, all heading toward the same point. This was not just a theory. Now there was visual clues, hard data, that something gigantic was indeed behind the curtain. But what the new instruments are picking up inside could shake up even the most established models of cosmology. Because what has emerged from the dust doesn't seem to be still, it seems to be alive. When the eyes of science finally crossed the evasion zone, what emerged on the other side was not a single monstrous structure, as many expected. It was something even more disturbing. An entire ocean of hidden galaxies clustered in a region of unusual cosmic density. There were thousands, perhaps millions, all squeezed into a concentration of matter and energy never before observed with such precision. These galaxies were not randomly distributed. They were arranged in connected patterns, interconnected like the filaments of an immense three-dimensional network. This is what astronomers call cosmic web, a large-scale structure where galaxies are clustered into gravitational knots and connected by invisible filaments of dark matter. Imagine the universe as a gigantic neural network, where galaxies are the neurons and the wires that connect them are channels of dark matter. And at the center of the Great Attractor, the density is absurd. It's as if the universe had dumped there an amount of matter equivalent to hundreds of thousands of normal galaxies, all orbiting something that still eludes complete explanation. This setup gave rise to a powerful analogy: the cosmic capitalism. Regions that are already dense in matter tend to attract even more galaxies around them in a cycle of gravitational accumulation. The rich get richer, even in the universe. But the question is, who is fueling this concentration? Is this just a consequence of gravity, or is there some kind of central structure acting as a catalyst? If there is a core there, it is at the deepest point of a supergalactic scale structure, as if it were the heart of a living organism composed of billions of suns. And most disturbingly, this region seems active, expanding, as if it were becoming increasingly influential. But perhaps the most shocking thing is not what was found, but rather what was understood, because the Great Attractor may not be a destiny. It may be the center of an even larger structure, which we are now beginning to identify by the name that redefines our place in the universe. You have just explored one of the densest and most mysterious regions of the observable universe. Now think with me, how many times have you heard about an ocean of hidden galaxies while browsing regular videos? Content like this doesn't appear by chance. It arises from the need to question what seems immutable, to seek what is beyond the obvious. If you value this kind of investigation, this kind of intellectual provocation that shakes up certainties and shakes up logic, leave your like now. It shows that there is a community here of restless minds like yours who want more than ready-made answers. They want bold hypotheses, real data, and questions that open portals. But what if this ocean of galaxies isn't the end of the road? What if, instead of looking at what attracts, we are seeing the beginning of something much bigger, a structure that redefines even the idea of direction? There's an even stranger truth being revealed, and it has a name that could completely change the way we understand our place in the universe. The name Great Attractor might suggest something compact, like a neutron star or a supermassive black hole hidden behind the veil of the Milky Way. But the truth, revealed by advances in astrophysical observations, is even more impressive and disconcerting. The Great Attractor is not a celestial body, it is a gravitational coordinate, a region of the universe with such absurd density that it can directly affect the movement of tens of thousands of galaxies around it, including our own. The Earth, the Sun, the entire solar system and the Milky Way itself are part of a much larger structure, the Laniakea supercluster. This cosmic mega-construction is not a defined sphere, but a tangle of galaxies connected by rivers of dark matter, gases, and gravity, as if they were particles trapped in a current that we cannot see directly. And most disturbingly, the gravitational center of this system is not static. It acts like a funnel, a whirlpool on a cosmic scale, pulling everything within it in a single direction. We are literally falling, on an astronomical scale, into Laniakea. The Milky Way is being driven like a loose leaf being sucked into a whirlpool. The speed is constant, but awareness of this movement is recent. The cosmic flow map reveals that all the galaxies in our galactic neighborhood are heading toward this same region with a coherence that defies chance. There is no imminent collision, but there is also no escape. The gravity of this region acts as an irrevocable invitation, dragging us toward a destiny that we do not yet fully understand. But what makes it even more disturbing is that this destination doesn't have a visible wall. There is no palpable center. The Great Attractor is a place where the density of the universe bends against common sense, where space-time behaves anomalously. And we, part of this cosmic current, have no choice but to continue following this invisible flow. What if the answer lies not in what we are being drawn to, but in the reason why this attraction exists? Could it be that we are being pulled to understand something that transcends matter? Brace yourself. The next paradox could shake the very concept of cosmic destiny. The idea that we are being pulled by a colossal force may seem like the beginning of a trajectory with a certain destination. But what if this journey never ends? Modern physics reveals a disturbing paradox. As we move at breathtaking speeds toward the Great Attractor, the very fabric of the universe is expanding even faster. It's like running towards a horizon that gets further away with every step. No matter how far we advance, we may never reach it. This accelerating expansion of the universe was one of the most shocking discoveries of the 20th century. Distant galaxies are moving away from each other at increasing speeds, and this is not because they are moving through space, but because the space between them is growing. The cosmos is essentially stretching like the surface of a balloon that is continually inflating, and we, tiny beings within it, have no way of stopping this force. The Milky Way may be being pulled by Laniakea, but if the universe expands fast enough, this gravitational destination could become unattainable. Not by distance, but by structure. Imagine a treadmill moving backwards faster than you can walk forwards. The result is stagnation, or worse, cosmic isolation. Some scientists believe that in the future, other galaxies will no longer be visible, even with the most powerful instruments. The light they emit will never reach us. We will be surrounded by darkness, in a bubble of reality where all that remains is our own galaxy. A universe slowly fading away, not through destruction, but through absolute distance. Perhaps the biggest illusion is not about where we are going, but about what we believe is possible to achieve. What if this attraction is just a reflection, an echo of something that has already passed or can never be achieved? Time is against us. But the next point may reveal what is really at stake when we talk about cosmic destiny. You've just accessed one of the most intriguing ideas in modern science, and it deserves to be shared with those who are also searching for the big questions of the universe. Send this video now to that friend who always wonders if there is something beyond what meets the eye. Let's expand this conversation with those who see the cosmos as an enigma still under construction. The truth is that we may be trapped in a moment in the universe that can never be fully understood. Between the past that fades into the distance and a future that runs faster than we can keep up with, the Earth continues being pulled. But pulled by what? Or by whom? If the universe is opening up in all directions, what are we missing, second after second? Being part of this channel is more than just watching videos. It is being on a journey through the biggest questions of the cosmos. Here, each theory is an invitation to go further, and each discovery brings us closer to the unknown. Sign up now and activate the bell to continue receiving content that challenges everything that has ever been said about the universe. And now, since you've come this far, your mind is already prepared for the next leap. Click on the video that appears on your screen and continue this investigation. What you will see may make you rethink your own reality.